If you're an Armored Core fan and you watch the Game Awards like I did, chances are you probably feel something like this right now. Don't worry, I get where you're coming from. It was a double whammy for me because as someone who was looking forward to the final Season 1 character reveal for Tekken 8 and expecting Tifa Lockhart like everyone else, I was probably one of the few people that was both excited and crushed by the fact that Clive would be filling that last spot. Come on, Harada, we couldn't have gotten the one Final Fantasy character that knows martial arts? Hashtag Tifa got robbed, but Clive is still cool. Anyway, back on topic. As Armored Core fans, we should actually be excited by the announcement of Elden Ring Nightreign. I'm not going to try to convince you to purchase the game if you're not a Souls fan or not interested in it. That's neither here nor there. The thing is, it spells a lot of potential for the Armored Core series moving forward. This whole doom and gloom mentality seems to stem from the fact that there's this rift between the Armored Core fanbase and the Soulsborne community where both can't coexist, and if one series gets more attention than the other, then one will be left behind, and that's simply not the case. Though I can understand why you would think this as someone who had to wait 10 years for Armored Core 6 to come out. So the idea of having to wait another decade for an Armored Core game is certainly scary. I'm not going to deny that. But the fact of the matter is, Elden Ring's mainstream success is the reason why Armored Core 6 is as popular as it is. There's even a show featuring an Armored Core episode starring Keanu Reeves. Let that sink in for a second. If there was ever any doubt that Armored Core has gone mainstream, there's the perfect example. And not only that, it has spearheaded the Mecha renaissance, if you will. Look at how many game developers are now working on their own Mecha-based title. I'm sure they didn't just wake up one day and decided, hey, let's make a giant robot action game. No, Armored Core 6 revitalized that genre. We've really come a long way, and it's safe to say that Elden Ring is what sparked the chain of events that led to both the Souls series and Armored Core outshining the veil of obscurity that they were hidden behind for all these years, for better or for worse. I mean, if you asked anybody 10 years ago if they ever heard of Armored Core, they would have no idea what you're talking about. Now, it's at the forefront of anybody who's played a mech game in recent years. That is no small achievement. You're probably going, that's cool and all, but what does any of this have to do with Nightrain? Trust me, context is important, and this has everything to do with Nightrain. The game comes out next year. It is a co-op survival action roguelike, if I'm not mistaken. And that in itself speaks volumes because this isn't your traditional FromSoftware formula to any game, let alone Elden Ring. We thought Elden Ring was done and over with. People were predicting what the next Souls-like is going to be from them. We just know they're working on several projects, and now that it's come to light that this is one of them, what does this mean for Armored Core? Well, it looks like we're going to get some form of Armored Core 6 DLC at one point. If you're not aware, the Steam page has it written in stone that there's some kind of a purchasable item that will be available sooner or later. So don't worry about that, we will get it. I wouldn't be surprised if they just announced it on a random Tuesday like they did with the Elden Ring DLC announcement, Shadow of the Erdtree. But when it comes to new entries of Armored Core or potential spin-offs, they can do a lot given with what we've seen from Nightrain alone. For starters, the trailer shows what looks to be some returning bosses from previous Dark Souls games, namely, no pun intended, the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3. This is a huge deal because it leaves the door open for them doing the same approach for Armored Core. Imagine, if you will, a spin-off title where they have a co-op mission-based structure. Please, FromSoftware, seriously, we need co-op in Armored Core. Maybe it's just me, but in a game about hiring mercenaries, it only makes sense. But imagine if you go through the missions, but the added twist is you have to fight enemies and bosses from previous Armored Core games. This would be amazing, not only for veteran players to experience the nostalgia trip, but for newcomers to also witness firsthand why some of these bosses left an impression on veteran players to begin with, and to understand why they're such an integral part of Armored Core's rich history over the years. And I know a lot of players are going out of their way to purchase these older Armored Core games and experience it for themselves, because if Armored Core remakes are outside of the realm of possibilities, and trust me, I really want the last Raven remake, then the next best thing would be what they're doing for Elden Ring Nightreign, and that's what's most exciting about all this. Granted, this does not guarantee anything. I am simply speculating. However, the likelihood of this coming true is now higher more than ever, and it's all thanks to the announcement of Nightrain. Canon be damned if they're willing to make a spin-off Elden Ring game and throw in Dark Souls bosses here and there, then the possibilities are endless for Armored Core too. This is pretty much uncharted territory for both FromSoftware and we the fans. They are basically going out of their comfort zone and changing up the formula. I am sure that it will still have the fundamentals of Elden Ring with some new features here and there. And I remember reading an article that FromSoftware mentioned wanting to refine their co-op and multiplayer approach to games. I have a feeling that this is going to be a testing ground for them. Not only depending on the game's success to implement more multiplayer-based features, hopefully improved ones, because we know the netcode isn't always the strongest in these games, but also to see if the interest is there. I am really curious what they have in store for us. If they are willing to shake things up to this extent without compromising the identity of these games, then there's a lot to look forward to. Whether you're strictly an Armored Core fan or a Souls fan, or you're like me and you just enjoy most of the games that FromSoftware throws out there, then I think that we can expect a lot of good things to come. I'm curious what you have to say. Are you looking forward to Nightrain? Are you excited? Or could you not care less? Either way, we just have to be patient as Armored Core fans. We will get new stuff down the road, and I'm sure it won't take another decade. Please, FromSoftware, I can't handle it. I don't think any of us really can. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, take care.